Welcome back to another chilling episode, my friends. Tonight, we delve once more into the abyss of human darkness, exploring the terrifying reality that the evil we fear most often lurks closest to home. Today, we bring you 3 true horror stories that will send shivers down your spine. Stories of betrayal, of vengeful spirits, and of the unspeakable horrors that await in the shadows. So, turn off the lights, lock your doors, and prepare yourselves. Because tonight, we face our deepest fears. Our first story takes us to a small, quiet town much like any other. A place where the days are slow and the nights are serene. A place where everyone knows their neighbor, and secrets are hard to keep. The kind of town where everyone's business is everyone else's. But beneath the surface of this seemingly peaceful town, a storm of jealousy and rage is brewing. Dark clouds of suspicion and malice gather, unseen by the unsuspecting townsfolk. We meet Sarah, a young woman on the verge of a fresh start. Her smile radiates hope and a newfound sense of freedom. After escaping a toxic relationship with her controlling ex-boyfriend Mark, she's finally found happiness with a new love. Her heart feels light, and her future seems bright.
But Mark, consumed by jealousy and unable to accept her newfound happiness, plots a sinister revenge. His mind is a dark labyrinth of twisted thoughts and vengeful plans. One night, as Sarah walks home alone, she feels a chill run down her spine, a sense of dread she can't shake off. The night air feels heavy, and every shadow seems to whisper her name. Little does she know, Mark is lurking in the shadows, his eyes burning with a terrifying intensity. His presence is a dark omen, a harbinger of the horror to come. He grabs Sarah, stifling her screams as he drags her into his car. Her struggle is futile against his overpowering grip. The world fades to black as she loses consciousness. Her last thought is a desperate plea for help that goes unheard.
Sarah wakes up in absolute darkness, her heart pounding against her ribs. The silence is deafening and her mind races with fear. Panic sets in as she realizes she's trapped in a confined space, unable to move. Her hands frantically search for an escape but find only cold, unyielding wood. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and decay. Each breath she takes is a struggle, filled with the scent of her own impending doom. The horrifying realization hits her like a ton of bricks. She's been buried alive. The weight of the earth above presses down on her, a silent, suffocating tomb. Enclosed within a wooden coffin, she claws at the lid, her screams muffled by the weight of the earth above. Her nails break and bleed, but she continues to fight against the inevitable. Each desperate breath she takes fills her lungs with the suffocating truth of her grim reality. The air grows thinner, and her strength wanes.
Days turn into an agonizing blur. Time loses all meaning in the darkness, and hope becomes a distant memory. Hope flickers like a dying candle as Sarah drifts in and out of consciousness. Her mind clings to fleeting memories of light and freedom. The darkness becomes her only companion, the silence broken only by the sound of her own ragged breaths and the frantic pounding of her own heart. Each beat a reminder of her fragile existence.
Meanwhile, as days turn into weeks, Sarah's disappearance haunts the town. Her face stares out from missing person posters, a ghostly reminder of the life that was stolen. The police investigation leads them to Mark, his alibi riddled with holes and his demeanor reeking of guilt. His every word is a tangled web of lies, but without concrete evidence, they're unable to pin him to the crime. The lack of proof is a frustrating barrier to justice. As suspicion mounts, Mark becomes increasingly unhinged, haunted by the nightmarish image of Sarah's face, pale and contorted in fear, as he sealed her fate. His dreams are plagued by her silent screams. He can't escape the chilling echo of her muffled screams, a constant reminder of his heinous act. The voices in his head grow louder, accusing him of his monstrous deed. The guilt gnaws at his sanity, driving him to the brink of madness. His mind is a prison, and the walls are closing in.
One night, consumed by guilt and terror, Mark returns to the site of his crime. The forest is a silent witness to his torment. The silence of the night is shattered by his own tormented cries as he frantically claws at the earth, desperate to undo what he has done. But it's too late. The ground is an unyielding barrier between him and redemption. Sarah's fate is sealed, her voice silenced forever beneath the cold, unforgiving ground. The earth holds her secrets, and her story ends in darkness. Mark is left to grapple with the horrific consequences of his actions, forever haunted by the ghost of the woman he buried alive. His life is a shadow of what it once was, consumed by the darkness of his own making.
Our next story takes us to a dilapidated Victorian mansion at the end of a desolate street, a place locals call Harbinger Lane. The house stands as a monument to decay, its once grand facade now crumbling, its windows like vacant eyes staring out into the world. This is the home that the Miller family, unaware of its sinister history, has chosen as their new beginning. They arrive full of hope, ready to breathe life back into the old house, but they soon realize that some houses are better left undisturbed.
From the moment they cross the threshold, an unsettling feeling washes over them. The air is heavy with an unseen presence, the silence broken by whispers that seem to emanate from the walls themselves. Strange occurrences plague their every move. Doors slam shut on their own, disembodied footsteps echo through the empty halls, and the scent of decaying flowers permeates the air, even though there are no flowers in sight.
Young Emily, the youngest of the Millers, is the first to see them, the spectral figures that drift through the house. A man in a tattered suit, his face contorted in an eternal scream, and a woman in a white gown, her eyes hollow and filled with an unspeakable sadness.
As the paranormal activity intensifies, the family uncovers the house's dark history. A century ago, the house was the scene of a gruesome murder-suicide. The owner, driven mad by grief after the death of his wife, took his own life after ending hers, their tormented souls forever bound to the house. The family tries to ignore the unsettling events, to convince themselves that the house is simply old and creaky. But the spirits have other plans. They want the Millers out, their presence a constant reminder of the tragedy that unfolded within those walls.
One night, the haunting reaches a terrifying crescendo. Emily, drawn by an unseen force, finds herself in the attic, the air thick with despair. There she comes face to face with the spirits of the deceased couple, their eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light.
Emily's terrified screams pierce through the house, alerting her family to the danger. They rush to her aid, only to find her cowering in the corner, her eyes wide with terror.
That night the Millers flee the house on Harbinger Lane, leaving behind their possessions and their dreams of a fresh start. The house stands as a chilling reminder that some doors are best left unopened, some secrets better left buried. The Millers learned this the hard way, their hopes and dreams shattered by the malevolent spirits that refused to let them find peace. The house on Harbinger Lane remains, a silent sentinel to the horrors that lie within, waiting for the next unsuspecting family to fall into its trap. Our final story takes us deep into the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where ancient forests hold secrets best left undisturbed. These woods have seen centuries of history, and their dense canopies hide more than just wildlife. It's here that we meet Michael, an experienced hiker who finds himself hopelessly lost in the unforgiving wilderness. Despite his skills and knowledge, the forest seems to twist and turn, leading him further into its depths.
As the sun begins its descent, casting long, eerie shadows through the trees, I stumble upon a sight that chills me to the bone. The forest, once a place of adventure, now feels like a realm of nightmares. In the middle of the path stands a solitary figure, shrouded in shadow. Its presence is both unexpected and unnerving, as if it has been waiting for me.
The figure is tall and slender, its limbs unnaturally long and thin, like branches twisted by the wind. It seems almost otherworldly, a being not meant for this world. Its head is shrouded in a dark hood, obscuring its face from view. The hood seems to absorb the light, making it impossible to see any features. An overwhelming sense of dread washes over Michael, his instincts screaming at him to turn back. Every fiber of his being tells him to flee, yet he stands rooted to the spot. But something compels him to approach, to unravel the mystery of this solitary figure. It's as if an invisible force is drawing him closer, against his better judgment.
As I draw closer, I notice something peculiar about the figure's hands. They seem almost too long, too thin, like they belong to a creature from a nightmare. They are long and bony, with fingers that end in sharp, pointed claws. These are not the hands of a human, but something far more sinister. The figure remains motionless, its presence radiating an aura of menace that sends shivers down my spine. It's as if the very air around it is charged with malevolence. Hello? Can you hear me? My voice echoes through the trees, but there is no response. Only the oppressive silence of the forest. I seem to be lost. The words feel inadequate, a simple statement that doesn't capture the depth of my fear and confusion.
The figure doesn't respond, but slowly, it turns its head towards Michael, as if it's finally acknowledging his presence. The movement is deliberate, almost mechanical. The setting sun casts an eerie glow on the figure's face, revealing a glimpse of what lies beneath the hood. The light seems to distort, making the figure even more terrifying, or rather, what doesn't lie beneath the hood. There is no face, just an expanse of smooth, featureless skin. Just smooth, featureless skin, where the eyes, nose and mouth should be. It's as if someone has erased its face, leaving only a blank canvas.
Terror grips my heart as I stumble backward, my mind struggling to comprehend the sight before me. This is beyond anything I could have imagined.
The figure takes a step towards him, its movements fluid and unsettling, like a predator stalking its prey. Each step it takes seems to echo in the silence. Michael turns and flees, his heart pounding in his chest. The forest blurs around him as he runs, driven by pure instinct. He can hear the figure's footsteps close behind him, its presence a constant threat. The sound is relentless, a reminder that he is not alone. He runs until his lungs burn and his legs scream for mercy, but the figure never falls behind. It's as if it feeds on his fear, growing stronger with each passing moment. Just when he thinks he's escaped, he trips and falls, his ankle twisting beneath him. Pain shoots through his leg, but the fear is stronger. As he lies there helpless, he sees the figure standing over him, its presence suffocating, its silence deafening. The world seems to close in around him. Then as quickly as it appeared, the figure vanishes, melting back into the shadows of the forest. It's as if it was never there, a figment of his darkest fears. Michael is left alone, shaken to his core, forever haunted by the memory of the sinister figure in the woods. The forest, once a place of solace, has become a place of nightmares. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales. Remember to leave a comment telling me what you thought and which story chilled you to the bone. Stay safe and remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are true. Sweet dreams, my friends, and be careful out there. You never know what lurks in the shadows.